This is the weekend edition of iFIBER 1 News, where we present some of the top stories from this week and your weekend weather forecast. I'm Bethany Jenks. Stay tuned for the weekend edition of iFIBER 1 News.
From the iFIBER 1 HD studio here in the heart of the Columbia Basin, this is iFIBER 1 News, your #1 source for local news, sports headlines, and our very own Weather Center forecast covering the entire Columbia Basin. This is iFIBER 1 News, and it starts now.
One of our top stories was about a Quincy Marine Corps veteran who walked 22 miles to raise awareness about suicide among veterans in the U.S. Reporter Devin Higgins has the story.
What compels a man to decide to take a very long walk? For Quincy resident and Marine Corps veteran Daniel Chisholm, it's to help his fellow soldiers through some of the darkest days of their lives. Growing up in Chelan, Chisholm enlisted in the United States Marine Corps after graduating from high school in 2000. In 2003, his unit Bravo Company 17 was sent overseas, marching from Kuwait to Baghdad, and then was based in Al-Najaf, Iraq for the next year. After coming home in 2004, Chisholm moved to Quincy and settled down with his 2 sons and his job as a journeyman boilermaker, but not all of his fellow soldiers have been so fortunate. According to a 2012 Veterans Administration report, 22 veterans commit suicide every day. In 2013, the website 22Kill was established to help bring awareness to the situation and build a network of veterans and community resources across the country. For Chisholm, he decided to take it one step further. Starting from the Grant County Fire District 3 station and with his mother and youngest son by his side, he set out on a 22-mile walk from Quincy to Rock Island, with each mile representing a veteran lost to suicide. Chisholm estimated the walk to Rock Island would take about 7 hours. By 8 a.m., he had reached the outskirts of Quincy. So how's the first 5 miles been?
5 miles have been great. Kind of boosts up the pace after I hear a honk. I'm like, get a little bit more energy. But I was going a little fast, but I'm trying to pace it out. Kind of go fast on the flats and then slow it down on the uphills. But overall, it's just a bunch of motivation and.
By noon, Chisholm was out in the picturesque scenery of Grant and Douglas County. And just after 2 o'clock, with friends and family waiting to greet him, Chisholm made his way into Rock Island and his destination at the Shell gas station. His son Elijah deciding to join him on the last 100 feet, and the walk was over. 22 miles for 22 veterans who were lost every day. Afterwards, Chisholm talked about the experience and his motivation to give back and be involved in the cause.
I was always kind of, had my own depression issues and kind of kept to myself, but after getting back in shape, it really brightened my feelings, and everything started feeling a lot better. So I had a lot more energy, both mentally and physically. And I came up with the idea to do a walk and tribute to my brothers and sisters who have lost their lives to suicide. I'll continue to do these things with the community, raise my awareness of suicide, PTS, and TBI, educate myself, educate anybody else who wants to be educated, or the public. More stuff to bring the public aware of it, because it needs to be something that not just the veterans are aware of it, but it needs to be their friends, their family, veteran or non-veteran. Everybody should be aware of it. Then they know, what would be the triggers that makes their friends or family, uneasy or get down low, and then it's just we need to keep it consistent and active until there are none.
In Rock Island, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
Officials with the Columbia Basin Tech Center say less Moses Lake High School students are enrolling in their programs for the fall. Reporter Joe Utter has the details.
The Columbia Basin Technical Skills Center is seeing fewer enrollments from Moses Lake High School students than projected. Director Christine Armstrong said registrations for next year among Moses Lake students are less than half of where they were estimated to be. They were expecting about 200 students and have just 65 signed up for this year. While the school is open to students who reside in any district within Grant County, Moses Lake represents the Skills Center's home district. Armstrong said Moses Lake students should account for the highest number of enrollments. CB Tech officials noted an increase in Moses Lake High School students enrolling in Big Bend Community College's Running Start program. The program gives students a chance to begin earning college credit while still enrolled in high school. Armstrong said she understands why Moses Lake students would consider that option over CB Tech, but hopes more will consider the Tech Center as an alternative opportunity. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
And now we take a look at people being sought by law enforcement.
This is Sheriff Tom Jones with the Grant County Sheriff's Office. Each of the people you see here have a warrant for their arrest. If you see any of these people, we ask you do not attempt to detain or apprehend them, but call us at 509-762-1160 or send us an email at crimetips@co.grant.wa.us. If the person is presenting a danger, call 911. With your help, we can bring these people to justice and make our community safer.
We will be right back after this.
When the cold rolls in, it's time to turn on the heater and cozy up with a book. But turning up the heat can mean higher electric bills. And for some families in tough times, that could mean choosing between a warm meal or a warm house. For decades, people like you have extended a hand to help local families in need pay those winter electric bills. Share the warmth this winter to help keep your neighbor warm by giving a little when you pay your Grant PUD bill.
Now for your iFIBER 1 News Weather Center forecast.
Hello everyone, I'm Chaselyn Rodriguez bringing you your local weather. This weather segment is brought to you by Barry Motors, one great place to buy and service a car. We do have a slight decrease in temperatures. However, those temperatures remain above the normal for this time of year, gradually becoming partly cloudy through the overnight hours. Gusty winds around 24 to 30 mile per hour winds for our area. Mostly sunny for Saturday, but windy conditions. Gusty winds will remain in control for much of our state for Saturday morning, even through the overnight hours. Rain chances are likely for Sunday as another system will approach the area. Let's take a closer look at the almanac. Within the past 24 hours, we started off with temperatures above the normal for this time of year in the mid-30s. That's about 10 degrees above the normal, and then maximum temperatures in the upper 40s, almost hitting that 50-degree mark. And our sunset this evening was at 5:27 p.m. and for Moses Lake, temperatures as well in the upper 30s, maximum temperatures in the upper 40s, and that record high around this time of year was of 58 degrees. And right now outside your door, mostly cloudy skies, becoming partly cloudy through the overnight hours. Temperatures in the mid 40s. Those winds are still pushing through from the southwest. Therefore, those temperatures will remain above the normal for this time of year. But we do have a threat of gusty winds between 24 to 30 mile per hour winds, especially for Saturday. In the meantime, showers are likely along the east and towards the coastal area, mainly towards the northwest. Also, mountain snow is likely for this evening and quickly clearing for Saturday through the overnight hours along our Columbia Basin. And for Saturday morning, we're expecting clear skies and dry conditions. Mountain snow is likely, and conditions are also improving along the inland northwest. Dry conditions are expected. But then coming through on Sunday, we're expecting another round of showers as the system will approach the area, bringing that threat of heavy rainfall and thunderstorms. Remember, for this weekend, especially Saturday, we're expecting that threat of gusty winds for Long Beach, up to 50 mile per hour winds. And also for much of our state, the threat is around between 30 to 50 mile per hour winds. Mostly clear skies for the Yakima Valley in the lower 50s. Towards the inland northwest, temperatures around the lower 40s with mostly sunny skies. And towards our Columbia Basin, temperatures ranging from the upper 40s to lower 50s. Ephrata, 50 degrees is the maximum temperature expected for tomorrow afternoon. Moses Lake in the lower 50s, and as well as for Royal City with mostly sunny skies. Dry conditions are expected for tomorrow, Saturday, but very windy for much of our state. And then coming through on Sunday, another system approaching, bringing that threat of showers, dry conditions for Monday.
Whether you're looking for a bigger car to support your growing family, A new truck for your business or something to pull that toy of yours, we've got you covered at Barry Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram and Ephrata. Come see us today and learn why your family, friends, and neighbors buy their cars at Barry. On Basin Street for more than 35 years, and with locations in Moses Lake and Wenatchee, we are one great place to buy a car. Call or click 754-2411 or barrysaves.com.
To save some energy, I've used Einstein's mass energy equivalents to design the haptic suits you see in front of you. They will maintain our core body temperature while we completely turn off our heat and air conditioning. With the money we save on our Grant PD bill, I'll be expecting that trip to Disneyland this year.
You don't need to be a super genius to save energy and money. Visit grantpud.org to learn how.
The 1-8 Blue Mountain Timberwolves snapped the Running Vikes' 10-game win streak.
5 players hit for double digits, and Blue Mountain upset Big Bend 89-88 Saturday. It was the first East Conference League loss for the Running Vikes, who dropped to 9-1 and into a tie with Spokane atop the standings. Big Bend was riding a 10-game win streak coming into the contest against the Timberwolves, but the 1-8 team from Ontario, Oregon, which had just come off a 2-point loss to Spokane the night before, wasn't intimidated. The Running Vikes held a 46-38 advantage at the break. Big Bend opened up a double-digit second-half lead, but Blue Mountain fought back to make a game of it down the stretch. The NWAC showdown saw the lead change hand 5 times and had the Timberwolves holding a 3-point lead with under 20 seconds to go. The Running Vikes got within a point with 0.7 of a second on the clock, but Big Bend was unable to convert on the inbounds pass before the buzzer sounded, and Blue Mountain came away with the upset. The Running Vikes' Riker Pierce led all scorers with 28 points. Keyshawn Liggins and Leo Barron added 14 each. J.J. Eli finished with 13.
The Chiefs rolled past the Rams to end regular season play unblemished and look to keep the mojo flowing as the team enters postseason play.
The Chiefs beat up on West Valley 61-34 at home Friday to cap off their first ever undefeated regular season and claim a spot in the school history books. Number 2 ranked Moses Lake finished 12-0 in the Big 9 Conference and 20-0 overall. It was an emotional evening on senior night in Moses Lake with a lot riding on the contest, but this one was all Chiefs as the home team jumped out to a 22-4 first quarter lead and was up 44-19 at halftime. The elder classmen got the start, but it was sophomore Jamie Luetta coming off the bench to lead the way with a game-high 19 points. Jesse Luetta added 15. Abby Rathman finished with 12. Moses Lake enters postseason play as the number 1 seed to districts out of the Big 9 Conference. The Chiefs will host a first-round loser-out game against a yet-to-be-determined opponent Friday at 7 p.m.
The Moses Lake boys held off West Valley 66-53 to close out the regular season on a 4-game win streak. The guys matched up with Eastmont in a first-round district loser-out game in Moses Lake on Tuesday.
The Moses Lake Chiefs held off Eastmont 77-71 last night and are moving on to the second round of the district tournament. It was a tight back and forth in the first half, with the lead changing hands 9 times, and Moses Lake was up 33-29 at the break. Isaiah Thomas sank a 3-pointer to open third quarter action, and the Chiefs pushed their lead 63-50 heading into the final 8 minutes. The Wildcats made a ferocious run to close the gap 71-66 with just under 2 minutes to go. Thomas and Ricardo Gonzalez fouled out down the stretch, and Eastmont made it a 3-point ball game, 74-71, with 25 seconds left on the clock. Zach Phillips iced the game with 2 late free throws, and Moses Lake held on for the win. Cesar Sandoval led the Chiefs with a double-double 29-point, 14-rebound effort. Phillips added 14 points, and Thomas and Gonzalez finished with 13 each. Moses Lake hits the road to Yakima Thursday for a round 2 matchup against the Davis Pirates.
The Moses Lake girls look to make it 21 in a row tonight when the Chiefs host Wenatchee in a district first-round loser-out contest. The action tips off at 7. Well, good luck to all the Basin athletes performing at the state wrestling and swim meets this weekend. Be sure and tune in to Channel 1 for live coverage of NWAC basketball as Big Ben hosts Walla Walla Saturday. The Vikings get this thing going at 2 o'clock. Have a great weekend. We'll be back after this short break.
Well, one thing I knew from being a patient myself was that a dental office is a scary place to come to. And so we wanted everything possible to make sure that our office is a comfortable place for our patients to visit. The patients that I have, my clients, have made me a part of this community, and we want to give back in every way possible.
You don't have to drive to Seattle for exceptional cancer care. Confluence Health's cancer program delivers world-class care close to home. We have a highly experienced oncology team in a state-of-the-art facility, and we're a member of the Seattle Cancer Care Alliance, which gives our patients access to world-renowned therapies developed at Fred Hutchinson, the University of Washington Medicine, and Seattle Children's. Together with the SCCA, we're delivering world-class cancer care close to home.
Our next story is about an after-school program at Endeavor Middle School in Moses Lake, teaching students about archery. The students are heading to their first competition next month. Reporter Devin Higgins has the details.
At Moses Lake's Endeavor Middle School, students are getting a chance after school to take part in a club that to some might seem like a step back to the dark ages. Twice a week, the school's archery club meets in the gymnasium and spends an hour practicing not only how to hit a bullseye, but also how to be consistent and disciplined with a bow in their hands. Endeavor physical education teacher Jennifer Bunkelman talked about how the club came about and what the students are getting out of the experience.
At the very beginning of the year, Kelly Frederick, who's our Dean of Students, the Moses Lake Community Church, they're the ones who started the upfront money, which Jody Waldrop's a part of, my assistant coach. And they started the money. She found the grant with NASPA, National Archery in Schools Program, and along with Field and Wildlife and American Best Foods in town. They all donated money. And so we went and got trained to be instructors in October, and we got all this equipment for free, which is a few $1,000s worth of stuff. And since we had it and there was so much interest with the kids, they said, why can't we be a club? And so we are the first club out of Endeavor, which is great. And I'm just excited that these kids like something that for them it could be lifelong. Some kids already have hunting families and some don't, and it's just archery. And there's been a lot of people in the school district, what, you have archery, it's so dangerous. And the statistics show archery is safer than any other ball sport except for ping pong. So because of, you watched tonight, the whistles, it's very regimented. Archery in the wild might be different, but archery in the schools is so safe because the kids are trained. They have to do notes, they have to pass a test before they even get to go to the line. No, I just seen a lot of kids here that aren't in any other sports in school, and they're here because they feel successful at it.
Sixth grader Taylor Mack may be one of the smallest members of the club, but she said her interest in archery is based on her experiences with her family.
Every once in a while, I do go to my grandparents' house and I shoot the bow at their house, and I just really got interested in it when I realized, when I walked in one morning and I saw that there was a sign up for archery, and I just signed up.
Was it as easy as you thought it was going to be the first time you tried to shoot a bow?
No, it was actually really painful and really hard.
So what's the most challenging thing for you in being able to hit a target well with a bow?
Aiming, because like I have to close my eye like this and I have to take my glasses off, and it's a little harder.
For Bunkelman, she says the chance to work with her students and watch them improve is why she hopes to continue building the program going forward.
Oh, watching them small, watching them come back and just like, did you see what I did? And it's so fun because their parents allow them. And one student at first was talking to Mr. Pike, and I almost forged the signature. I didn't think my parents would let me do this, but they did archery in middle school. And that's what I found out a lot of parents are saying. I had archery in Ephrata in middle school, but a lot of that's gone by the wayside. But families remember that schools used to do things like this. And that's why I really like the kids I get to do something. And my parents said it's great. Like, they're allowed to do something that seems risky to them. And usually their parents are probably saying no, no. And now it's like, wow, it's a yes.
In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
We'll be right back.
Experience speed like never before when you connect to Grant PUD's high-speed network. Visit grantpud.org to learn more.
We are real students, and this really is our college.
My dream will change the outcome of my life.
My college is allowing me to achieve my dream.
My dream is to be a pilot.
My dream is to be a nurse.
Only you can determine your dream. Big Bend will help you get there.
What's your dream?
Welcome back. The next story is about engineering students in Moses Lake working on a one-of-a-kind project for an oyster harvesting business. Reporter Devin Higgins has the story.
At the Columbia Basin Technical Skills Center's Manufacturing and Engineering Department, kids are hard at work behind closed doors working on a one-of-a-kind project. It may not look like much at the moment, but by the end of the week, these students will have transformed several pieces of aluminum into an 18-foot-long boat used for oyster harvesting by a Cowlitz County business owner. Kyle Turley runs an operation that collects oysters from the lower Columbia River, and he's also a career and technical education teacher at Wakayakum High School in Kaflamet. He said he came to CB Tech after hearing about the school's manufacturing program and offered them a chance to make a new boat for his fleet. It also provided him an opportunity to learn about boat construction and welding techniques from instructor Chad Utter. Utter talked about why he chose to take on the project and how it helps his students.
10, 12, 15 years ago at the high school, Rick Rosenow and myself started building boats and kind of got decent at doing, kind of understood what we were doing. And so last summer I went to Alaska and fished for a guy and from Western Washington. When he's not fishing in Alaska, he has an oyster bed on the Columbia River. And so he was quizzing me about building a boat for his oyster farm and thought we could do it. And so with our new facility here and the equipment we've got, kind of the goal is to build this boat in a week or so, just to get it done more of a production mode, teach kids the skills of aluminum fabrication and fitting things up. This is not a kit boat. This is something that we've designed completely. And again, we're using some of the stuff that we've learned through the years. But this is a totally different boat than we've ever built before too, so there's a lot of planning, a lot of gritting, a lot of thinking, and a little bit of trial and error to make sure that we get it right.
Moses Lake Jr. John David Gregg is taking part in the design and fabrication of the boat, and he talked about the challenges and experience he's getting from the project.
It's actually pretty nice because you get to see it from the start to finish, and you get to learn the steps that you go through to do it. And then at the end, you're going to feel accomplished because you helped build the boat that we're building right now. When I was a freshman at the high school, there was still the boat building class over there. And I watched them build or work on a couple boats over there. So I kind of knew just the basics. But then here I get to do hands-on and actually go through the whole process.
With trade skills and manufacturing becoming more essential to the economy, Utter said students who take part in programs like CB Tech's are getting the attention of companies and potential employers across the state.
It's really exciting actually that these kids, if they take a vocational class wherever, that there are career opportunities for them, and not just job opportunities, but actual career opportunities and good paying jobs. We have recruiters coming from the west side even. The Naval Shipyard has been here. They had something like 600 entry-level positions open right now. There's a good demand for good-paying jobs in this area.
In Moses Lake, Devin Higgins for iFIBER 1 News.
Rounding out this week's news coverage is a story about free boating education courses offered by the Grant County Sheriff's Office throughout 2016. Reporter Joe Utter has the details.
The Grant County Sheriff's Office Marine Unit is offering free boating education courses throughout 2016. Classes are offered in Moses Lake at the Sheriff's Office substation on Lowry Street and in Ephrata at the Public Works Building on Enterprise Street. The classes are offered in February, May, June, July, August, October, and December. Classes are scheduled from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., except for the July and August classes, which run from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. both nights. The course allows participants to receive their boater education card, which is required in the state to operate motor vessels with 15 horsepower or more. The minimum age to obtain the boater education card is 12 years old. The course is free to attend and no registration is required. All materials and testing supplies are provided. For more information, people can contact Deputy Wayne Hilliard at 509-754-2011, extension 2321. This is Joe Utter for iFIBER 1 News.
That wraps up our weekend edition. iFIBER 1 News will be back on Monday at 5 p.m. with the latest news from around the Columbia Basin. Thank you for watching.